Before we begin, may I ask you something personal? Have you ever stood in your bedroom, staring at a closet bursting with clothes, yet feeling that strange paradox of having nothing to wear? Perhaps your fingers lingered on that dress from your daughter's wedding 15 years ago, or that blouse you've been saving for when you lose those stubborn pounds. If you're nodding right now, please know this: you are not alone. Not by a long shot. I've walked this path myself. After 7 decades on this beautiful earth, I've learned that our relationship with our clothes runs deeper than thread and fabric. Each item tells a story, some joyful, some painful, some we're simply not ready to conclude. Today, we're going to explore something far more profound than simple closet cleaning. We're going to talk about creating space, not just physical space, but emotional space. Space for serenity. Space for clarity. Space for embracing the magnificent woman you are right now, not the woman you once were, or the woman you someday hope to be. Together, we'll examine 10 types of clothing that might be silently weighing you down in ways you haven't even recognized. And I promise you this: our conversation isn't about loss or deprivation. It's about freedom. It's about crafting a home and life that honors the wise, radiant woman you've become. So pour yourself a cup of tea, settle into your favorite chair, and let's begin this liberating journey together. 1. The someday clothes. Let's start with those silent promises hanging in the back of your closet. The someday clothes. You know exactly which ones I mean. The jeans you haven't worn in a decade, but keep just in case you drop a size. The formal gown waiting patiently for an invitation that never arrived. The blouse purchased on sale that might work someday with the right accessories. We hold on to these pieces with such hopeful intentions. Sometimes they represent optimism about the future. Other times, if we're truly honest with ourselves, they reflect a version of ourselves we wish we still were. But here's what these clothes whisper every time you see them: you're not enough yet. You need to change, to shrink, to transform before you deserve to feel beautiful. My dear friend, that is a falsehood we must reject. You're already enough. The body you inhabit today, with its laugh lines, its soft curves, its strength and its scars, this body doesn't need to earn your love or comfort. This body has carried you through life's greatest joys and deepest sorrows. It deserves celebration, not conditional acceptance. So I invite you, with gentleness and compassion, to examine these someday items. Hold each one and ask yourself, am I keeping this because it brings me joy today, or because it makes me feel inadequate? If an item makes you feel guilty, ashamed, or perpetually not yet enough, perhaps it's time to release it. Not as an act of giving up, but as a powerful declaration that you choose to honor your present self. These clothes could bring immediate joy to someone else. Perhaps a young woman just starting her career, or a mother struggling to make ends meet. Your act of letting go becomes their blessing. And you gain something far more valuable than fabric. You gain freedom from expectation, freedom from pressure, freedom to fully inhabit the present moment. 2. Uncomfortable clothes that no longer serve you. Now let's talk about something we often overlook in our quest for style: simple, physical comfort. Think about it. How many items in your wardrobe pinch, bind, or restrict? The blouse that digs into your shoulders. The pants that leave angry red marks on your waist by day's end. Those fashionable shoes that have you counting the minutes until you can kick them off. Why do we keep these instruments of discomfort? Sometimes it's financial guilt. I paid good money for this. Sometimes it's denial. It'll feel better next time. But most often, I believe, it's because we've grown accustomed to putting our comfort last. My dear sisters, our bodies have carried us through decades of living. They've endured childbirth, sleepless nights with sick children, long hours of work, and the physical toll of caring for aging parents. These bodies have stood tall through heartbreak, danced through celebration, and weathered countless storms. Haven't they earned the right to comfort? To softness? To breathable fabrics that feel like a gentle embrace? Uncomfortable clothes aren't just a physical burden, they're an emotional one. Each time you wince or tug or adjust, you're reinforcing the message that discomfort is your natural state, that you should make it work, even when it hurts. I invite you to try something revolutionary. Dedicate one afternoon to trying on everything in your wardrobe. But instead of evaluating how each item looks, focus on how it feels. Does it allow you to move freely? To breathe fully? To sit comfortably? If you find yourself constantly adjusting, tugging, or feeling restricted, regardless of how flattering the item might be, perhaps it's time to thank it for its service and let it go. Replace these items, when you can, with clothes that feel like coming home, garments that allow you to forget what you're wearing because you feel so at ease in your own skin. You deserve that kind of peace. Every single day. 3. Items you haven't worn in over a year. Let's examine something many of us struggle with: keeping clothes we simply never wear. Open your closet and look closely. I'm willing to bet there are items that haven't seen the light of day in over a year. The corporate blazer from your working days, still perfectly pressed but untouched. The cocktail dress from your niece's wedding 5 years ago. The drawer full of scarves you collected but rarely reach for. These clothes aren't just taking up physical space, they're occupying emotional and mental real estate too. Each unworn item represents a version of yourself or a lifestyle that no longer fits who you are today. And that's not something to mourn, it's something to celebrate. You've evolved. Your days look different now. Perhaps you spend more time in your garden, with your grandchildren, or pursuing creative passions that lay dormant during your working years. The woman you are today deserves a wardrobe that reflects her actual life, not the life she used to lead or the one she occasionally imagines. Here's a simple rule I found helpful. If you haven't worn something through all 4 seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter, it's time to consider releasing it. That blazer, those heels, that handbag, if they're not part of your lived experience anymore, let them go to someone who will wear them, love them, and bring them back to life. By doing so, you're not losing anything. You're gaining something invaluable: alignment between your outer world and your inner truth. And when you open your closet doors, you'll feel it, that lightness, that clarity, that peaceful sense that everything you see belongs in your life right now. 4. Damaged clothes beyond repair. Now let's discuss those items we all tend to keep far too long: damaged clothes. You know precisely which ones I mean. The blouse missing a button you've been meaning to fix for months. The sweater with the stubborn stain no amount of soaking seems to remove. The pants with a tear near the hem, carefully folded away as if preparing them for surgery that never happens. These pieces often occupy their own special limbo, not worn, not used, but not quite ready for disposal either. Why do we keep them? Sometimes it's practical guilt. I paid good money for this. Sometimes it's optimism. I'll fix it one day. And sometimes, these items are tied to precious memories that make discarding them feel tantamount to erasing the past. But here's a gentle truth. Damaged clothes that remain unfixed become a form of unfinished business in your life. Every time you see that torn skirt or stained blouse, your mind registers it as a task undone, a small failure, another thing you should address. And if weeks, months, or even years have passed without repair, it might be time to be honest with yourself. That someday has come and gone. Releasing damaged clothes isn't wasteful. It's a form of emotional housekeeping. If the fabric is still usable, consider textile recycling programs or transforming it into cleaning rags. That way, the item continues to serve a purpose, just in a different form. Think of it this way. Every item you keep should either serve your daily life or bring you genuine joy when you see it. If it does neither, if it only brings guilt or a sense of obligation, it's occupying space that could be filled with ease and freedom. Be kind to yourself. Thank these well-loved pieces for their service, then release them. They fulfilled their purpose. Now it's time for both of you to move forward. 5. Memory-laden clothes. This next category may be the most tender of all, the clothes that carry our deepest memories. The cardigan your late husband always said brought out the blue in your eyes. The blouse you wore the day your first grandchild was placed in your arms. The dress from your retirement party, when colleagues celebrated decades of your contribution. These garments are more than fabric and thread. They're tangible connections to people we've loved, milestones we've crossed, and chapters we've completed. They hold our tears, our laughter, our histories within their fibers. And because of this profound connection, letting go can feel impossible, even sacrilegious. How can we discard something that feels like discarding a memory itself? Here's what I've learned in my own journey. You don't need to keep every physical item to preserve its emotional significance. When our closets become more museum than functional space, the memories themselves can start to feel heavy, even sorrowful. The goal isn't to erase your past, it's to honor it without being overwhelmed by it. Consider taking photographs of your most memory-laden pieces. Write down the stories they hold. Create a small memory book if you wish. This preserves the emotional essence without requiring physical storage. Then, select just one or two truly irreplaceable items to keep. The scarf that still brings tears to your eyes when you touch it, or the dress that makes you smile every time you see it hanging there. For the rest, imagine someone else finding that special sweater, that beautiful coat, and making their own beautiful memories with it. What a gift that would be, allowing your treasures to create new stories for someone else. Letting go of memory-laden clothes doesn't mean letting go of the people, events, or emotions they represent. Those live eternally in your heart. And by creating space in your closet, you make room for new memories, new joy, and new chapters yet to be written. 6. Someday or aspirational clothes. Let's explore another category that often fills our closets: aspirational clothes. These are the pieces we acquire not for the life we're actually living, but for the life we imagine we might someday live. The designer dress for that Mediterranean cruise you've been planning someday. The hiking gear for adventures you hope to have eventually. The stylish outfit for when you finally feel confident enough to put yourself out there. These items often arrive in our lives during moments of hope or transition. For a while, they might even feel inspiring, physical reminders of dreams and possibilities. But over time, if those dreams remain deferred, these clothes can transform from symbols of aspiration to quiet reminders of what hasn't happened yet. Each time you see them, they whisper, "You haven't done enough, been enough, lived enough." As women, we're taught that striving and self-improvement are virtues. And they can be. But at some point, we must ask ourselves, is this item serving me, or is it subtly shaming me? Does it make me feel excited about life, or does it make me feel like I'm falling short? Your closet should be a place of acceptance, not pressure. It should hold clothes that make you feel beautiful, comfortable, and authentic right now. Not 10 pounds from now, not 10 years ago, not 10 adventures into the future. If an item makes you feel like you're not doing enough or being enough, perhaps it's time to release it. Thank it for what it represented, and let it go with love and gratitude. Then fill your space with clothes that meet you exactly where you are, not where you should be. There's nothing wrong with dreaming, but dreams should lift your spirit, not weigh down your closet. The woman you are today, with all her wisdom, experience, and unique beauty, is more than enough. Let your wardrobe reflect that fundamental truth. 7. High-maintenance clothes that require too much effort. Now let's turn our attention to those items that look beautiful but feel like a part-time job, the high-maintenance clothes. You know exactly which ones I mean. The silk blouse that requires dry cleaning after every wear. The linen pants that emerge from the dryer looking like a crumpled map. The delicate sweater that must be hand-washed, laid flat to dry, and treated with the reverence usually reserved for ancient artifacts. There may have been a time in your life when you had the energy, patience, or inclination to follow multi-step care instructions. Perhaps during your working years, when that silk blouse was part of your professional armor, the extra effort seemed justified. But life changes. Your priorities evolve. And in this chapter of life, your time and energy have become increasingly precious resources, ones that deserve to be invested wisely. High-maintenance clothes often end up relegated to the back of the closet, not because you dislike them, but because wearing them feels like work. They require planning, special care, extra time, all of which might be better spent on activities that bring you genuine joy. When we keep these items just in case, they continue occupying physical space while also creating mental clutter, that nagging voice saying, "You should wear this beautiful thing, even though you know you probably never will." Instead of letting those feelings linger, perhaps it's time to be honest with yourself. Ask, do I avoid wearing this because caring for it feels like a burden? If the answer is yes, consider releasing it with gratitude. There are so many beautiful, stylish options now that combine elegance with practicality. Clothes you can toss in the wash, wear with ease, and never worry about ruining. Your mornings should feel calm and unhurried, not dominated by clothing concerns. Choose garments that match the ease and grace of the life you're creating now. Let go of what feels like effort, and embrace what feels like freedom. Your wardrobe should work for you, not the other way around. 8. Seasonal clothes that no longer fit your lifestyle. Let's discuss seasonal clothing, especially items that no longer align with your current lifestyle or location. Perhaps you've relocated from Minnesota to Arizona, but your closet still houses heavy wool coats, thick scarves, and insulated boots. Or maybe you've retired from a job that once required business attire in all seasons, yet formal summer suits and winter blazers still line your closet walls. Our lives change, our locations shift, our daily routines transform, yet we often forget to update our wardrobes accordingly. We hold on to seasonal items that haven't been worn in years, just in case. Just in case of what? A freak blizzard in the desert? A sudden return to corporate life after years of retirement? An unexpected invitation to go skiing after your knees have clearly stated their preference for gentle walks. Sometimes we keep these items out of habit, sometimes out of nostalgia for past adventures, and sometimes out of fear, that deeply human worry that the moment we let something go is precisely when we'll suddenly need it. But here's a gentle truth. Keeping seasonal clothes that no longer serve your current lifestyle only adds unnecessary complexity to your life. That coat you haven't worn in 7 years is unlikely to be the one you'll reach for on the rare cold day. And if such a day does arrive, you deserve something that fits who you are now, not a relic from years past. Instead of keeping and used seasonal pieces, consider giving them new purpose. Donate winter coats to homeless shelters, warm gloves to schools with children in need, or ski gear to programs that introduce underprivileged youth to winter sports. Someone out there is facing harsh weather without the warmth and protection you have stored away. Imagine the comfort your donation could provide. Releasing outdated seasonal wear isn't wasteful, it's wise. It means you're aligning your home with your actual life, not a life you once lived or occasionally imagine returning to. And that alignment brings a special kind of peace. 9. Duplicate items you never use. Now let's examine something that tends to accumulate slowly, almost imperceptibly: duplicate items. Take a moment and consider. How many white blouses hang in your closet right now? How many pairs of black pants? How many cardigans in slightly different shades of beige? How many nearly identical pairs of comfortable shoes? Over decades of living, it's remarkably easy to collect multiples of the same basic items, especially when we find something that works well for us. This fits perfectly, we think. I should get another. Before we realize it, we're surrounded by variations on a theme, most of which rarely see the light of day. Here's what happens in practice. We almost always reach for our favorites, that one pair of jeans that fits just right, that one top that makes us feel confident and comfortable. The rest remain folded or hanging, taking up space, adding to visual clutter, and requiring maintenance without providing much benefit in return. And every time we open our closets, we must sort through all these extras just to find the pieces we actually want to wear. Having too many duplicates doesn't make life easier, it makes decisions harder. It creates more laundry, requires more storage, and adds more visual noise to our living spaces. As we embrace this chapter of life, what we need more than abundance is simplicity, a curated, intentional wardrobe with fewer items but more meaning and functionality. Start by identifying your true go-to pieces, the items you naturally reach for and enjoy wearing. Then take an honest look at the duplicates. Are you keeping them, just in case, your favorite wears out? Out of habit? Out of guilt for having spent the money? If they're not your first choice, if they're perpetually passed over for their more beloved counterparts, perhaps it's time to let them go. Someone else may need exactly what you no longer use. This isn't about having less for minimalism's sake. It's about having what serves you well, no more, no less. When you remove unnecessary duplicates, you create space for ease. You rediscover the joy of what you already own and love. A simplified wardrobe is a daily gift you give yourself. Less decision fatigue, more clarity, and the quiet satisfaction of being surrounded only by things that truly belong in your life. 10. Clothes that no longer reflect who you are today. And now, we arrive at perhaps the most personal category of all: clothes that no longer reflect who you are today. These pieces might still fit perfectly. They might be in excellent condition. They might even receive compliments when you wear them. But when you put them on, something feels off. Like you're wearing someone else's clothes, or playing a part in a play about your former self. Maybe they belong to a style you've naturally outgrown. Maybe they were chosen to please others or to fit a role you no longer occupy. Maybe they simply don't resonate with the woman you've become. This evolution is subtle and deeply personal. You might not be able to articulate exactly why that dress that once made you feel powerful now feels like a costume, or why that jacket that defined your identity for years now seems to belong to a stranger. That's not failure, that's growth. As women, we continuously evolve throughout our lives. In our 20s and 30s, we might dress for careers, new relationships, and establishing our place in the world. In our 40s and 50s, we balance multiple roles, often putting others' needs before our own. But as we move into our 60s and beyond, something magnificent happens. We begin to rediscover ourselves, our authentic preferences, our deepest values, our true joy. And our wardrobes should honor this beautiful homecoming to self. Clothes that made perfect sense when you were working full-time might feel restrictive in retirement. Pieces that reflected your identity as a young mother might no longer speak to your spirit as a wise grandmother or independent traveler. Letting go of these items isn't denying your past, it's honoring your present. It's making space for a style that feels like coming home, simple, comfortable, elegant, and deeply, authentically you. So ask yourself, when I wear this, do I feel like myself? Do I feel aligned with who I am today? Does it bring me joy, or am I wearing it because I feel I should? Keep what empowers you. Release what no longer does. Because you deserve to feel fully yourself every time you get dressed. Not a version of yourself from yesterday, but the wise, magnificent woman you've become today. A wardrobe that matches the life you deserve. My dear friend, if you've stayed with me until this moment, I want to thank you, not just for listening, but for showing up for yourself. Because this conversation was never really about clothing. It was about something far deeper. It was about permission. Permission to let go of what no longer serves you, whether physically or emotionally. It was about peace, the quiet satisfaction of opening a closet and seeing only items that bring you joy. It was about claiming the space in your life and your home that reflects who you truly are now. Not who you once were, not who others expect you to be, but the authentic, remarkable woman you've become. Decluttering your wardrobe isn't about getting rid of things. It's about making room. Room for ease, room for self-respect, room for mornings that feel lighter and choices that feel clearer. It's about removing guilt and releasing stories that no longer serve your highest good. You're not the same person you were 20 or 30 years ago. You're wiser. You've witnessed more, felt more deeply, survived more challenges. You've earned every silver hair, every laugh line, every moment of clarity that comes with decades of living. And you deserve clothes that honor that journey. Garments that celebrate your present reality, not chase a distant past or pressure an imagined future. Imagine waking tomorrow, opening your closet doors, and seeing only pieces that make your heart lift a little. Clothes that fit your actual life, that embrace your body with comfort and care, that remind you not of who you once were, but of the beautiful, evolving woman you continue to be. That's not just decluttering. That's transformation. So here's my final encouragement. Take this step with kindness toward yourself. You don't need to tackle everything in one overwhelming day. One hanger at a time. One drawer. One thoughtful decision. And with each piece you release, you're making room not just in your home, but in your heart, for new experiences, new joys, new ways of being. If today's conversation resonated with you, I hope you'll share it with a friend who might need these words. Leave a comment below and join our wonderful community here at Elders Wise Insight. We're walking this chapter together with grace, wisdom, and open hearts. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until we meet again in our next conversation, remember to care for yourself tenderly. Because you matter. Every single day.